So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu is Mata. Yes, thank you very much for joining, keeping the appointment with Krishna. So, this Bhagavatam session today, fourth canto, 11th chapter, second half, we will be discussing. Sorry. Let us start. So, we'll just start with Jaya Radha Madhav. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. हरे नाम संकीर्तन की जय, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुरमाई की जय, नरसिंह भगवान की जय, पंच तत्व की जय, षड गोस्वामी की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, प्रभुपाद की शंका गो परिभू। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So from fourth canto to the 11th chapter, so verse number 19 onwards till the last 35. Just share the screen. Yeah, may not be able to recite all the verses, but just one verse we'll recite, and others we'll just discuss. सोऽनन्तोऽन्तःकर कालो अनादिरादिकृतव्ययः जनं जनेन जनयन् मारयन् मृत्युनान्तकम्। सोऽनन्तोऽन्तःकरः कालो अनादिरादिकृतव्ययः जनं जनेन जनयन् मारयन् मृत्युनान्तकम्। सोऽनन्तोऽन्तःकरः कालो अनादिरादिकृतव्ययः जनं जनेन जनयन् मारयन् मृत्युनान्तकम्. Any one Prabhu and one Mataji can recite this verse.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sonanto nantakara kalo anadiradi kridavyayah जनं जनेन जनयन्मा जनं जनेन जनयन्मान् जन्म
Janam janena janayan, then marayan.
ओके जनं जनेन जानयन् मारयन् मृत्युनान्तकम् हरे कृष्ण सॉरी फॉर फॉल्टरिंग
No,
हरे
yes,
कृष्ण
Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी में आए
Yes, yes, right.
सोनन्तनोऽन्तकरः कालो नादिरादि कृत् अव्ययः जनं जनेन जयन् मारयन् मृत्युनान्तकम्
Hare Krishna, thank you.
हरे कृष्ण
Word to word meaning synonyms. Sa he, anantaha, infinite. Antakaraha, annihilator. Kalaha, time. Anadihi, without beginning. Adikrit, beginning of everything. Avyayaha, without decrease. Janam, living entities. Janena, by living entities. Janayan, causing to be born. Marayan, killing. Mrityuna, by death. And Antakam, killers. Translation purpose be Prabhupada ki jai. I just read the translation purport we'll be discussing in the class. So, my dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever existing, but in the form of time, he is the killer of everything. He has no beginning, although he is the beginning of everything. Nor is he ever exhaustible, although everything is exhausted in due course of time. The living entities are created through the agency of the Father and killed through the agency of death, but he is perpetually free of birth and death. Om Gyantamara Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganarita Shri Vishaka Thamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भवेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणानमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं मुखं करोति वातायनं Yes. So, Hare Krishna. So, very wonderful chapter actually. In fact, very difficult to cover all the verses. When immediately second half, so many verses are there, and all are very important verses. I may be taking few of them. So I request everybody to go through the whole chapter, no, with the purpose, the wonderful purpose are there to understand. So in the 19th verse just now, I just read the purpose. It's so beautiful. See, the supreme authority and inconceivable power of Supreme Personality of Godhead can be minutely studied from this verse. So he says, the supreme authority and the power of the Lord can be studied from this verse. He's always unlimited. That means that he has no creation or end. Anadi. See, he is our death in the form of time, as described in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I am death. I take away everything at the end of life. Eternal time is also without beginning, but it is the creator of all creatures. The example is given of touchstone, which creates many valuable stones and jewels, but does not decrease in power. Similarly, creation occurs many times. Everything is maintained, and after a time, everything is annihilated. But the original creator, the Supreme Lord, remains untouched and undiminished in power. The secondary creation is made by Brahma, but Brahma is created by the Supreme Godhead. Lord Shiva annihilates the whole creation. By the end, he is also annihilated by Vishnu. Lord Vishnu remains. So in the Vedic hymns, it is stated that in the beginning there is only Vishnu and that he alone remains at the end. An example can help us to understand the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Lord. In the recent history of warfare, the Supreme Personality of God created a Hitler, and before that, a Napoleon Bonaparte. And they each killed many living entities in a war. But in the end, Bonaparte and Hitler were also killed. People are very much still interested in writing and reading books about Hitler and Bonaparte. and how they killed so many people in war. Year after year, many books are published for public reading regarding Hitler's killings thousands of Jews in confinement. But no one is researching who killed Hitler and who created such a gigantic killer of human beings. The devotees of the Lord are not much interested in the study of the flickering history of the world. They are interested only in Him, who is the original creator, maintainer, and annihilator. That is the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. In this chapter, no, this chapter is entitled Swayambhu Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. See, when Dhruva Maharaj came to know that his brother was killed by one of the yakshas, right? So he started killing all of them. He killed the one who killed his brother, but afterwards he started killing all of them. And they were innocent. They didn't kill, right? So his grandfather Swayambhu Manu, he saw this. So he came and he advised Dhruva Maharaj to give up his anger and not to punish all the yakshas just because one among them had killed his brother. So the main theme of this whole chapter is with regard to anger. Speaks about anger, how to control anger, right? And what are the qualities by which we can control anger. And for this, the verse number 13 is a very, very important verse in this whole chapter. It's a beautiful verse. It says, Titikshaya karunaya maitracha kila jantushu samatvena cha sarvatma bhagavan samprasidati. It says, the Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. So how to satisfy the Lord, right? The Lord is very satisfied with the devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality, not anger. So tolerance satisfies Krishna. So let us see these four qualities, because this pertains to all the other verses as well, which includes by which we can overcome anger. See, if we cultivate these four qualities, tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality, then Krishna is very completely satisfied. And it is our duty, in the human existence to satisfy Krishna. So unless you satisfy Krishna, your life becomes completely useless. And useless life has no meaning, right? That is why it is useless. So as soon as something is useless, it is to be thrown away in the dustbin. So if your life is useless, right, and not satisfying Krishna, it is supposed to go into the dustbin. So if you want to throw yourself in the dustbin, then don't follow this path. But if you don't want to throw yourself in the dustbin, then you have to follow this program. Bhagavan Samprasidati. And the first thing is Titikshaya, Karunaya. So you have to be very tolerant. Tolerate always. See, in marital relationships also, if you tolerate each other, it continues. In social relations also, if you tolerate each other, the society goes ahead. In cities also, if you tolerate each other, the city functions very efficiently. In the country also, if you tolerate each other, then the country functions very nicely. And the globe, this is Earth planet, right? So if you tolerate each other, then the whole globe functions nicely. And in this universe, see, this is one of the globes, right? If all of the planets tolerate each other, the universe functions very efficiently. And there are innumerable universes in the material manifestation. And if all the universes tolerate each other, whole bunch of material manifestation functions very efficiently. So otherwise, one globe will bang the other globe and both will be destroyed. Or one universe will bang with another universe and the whole thing will be destroyed. So the whole manifestation functions on this quality, tolerance. In our temples also, there are different personalities staying, correct? Different mental capacities are there. Different modes of mental nature are playing around. Even then, the temple is functioning. And if you tolerate each other, then the temple will function very efficiently. And if you don't tolerate, then there will be clashes. And as soon as there is clash, immediately there is destruction. That's why we avoid clashes. See, we work in the offices, we work in our own businesses, and we avoid these clashes. So this is the first quality to be cultivated if you want to satisfy the Supreme Absolute Truth Krishna. Then you must be extra tolerant. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely instructs us in one line, Tharorapi Sahishnuna, more tolerant than the tree. See, it is very beautiful to understand this line. The tree, see, we beat the mango tree with a stone, and the tree gives you mangoes. You cut the chandan tree, and you're cutting, right? You're destroying the tree, but it gives you the nice chandan flavor. It never resists. So if somebody hits you with a stone, what will you do? You will run after him with another stone. But that's not what the scriptures say. Krishna will not be satisfied, right? See, the tree, if it is hit by the stone, it gives mango. If somebody hits you, you're much better than the tree, right? So why do you run after him with the stone? See, there was one great king, Maharashtra. His name is Shivaji Maharaj. Famous king, right? So once it so happened, there was one lady and her children were very hungry. Because for 3-4 days, she could not provide any food for the children. So the mother was worried because she wanted to feed them. So she went to the forest and she had a stick in her hand. So she thought that she would beat the mango tree, get a few mangoes and feed the children. It so happened that Shivaji was also riding on the horse and going under the same tree. So she raised the stick and she wanted to hit the mango. But instead of that, she missed the mango and the stick hit the turban of Shivaji. The king was hit. So all the soldiers were very angry. She's beating the king. So the next day, Shivaji called her to court and asked her, "Why did you hit my turban?" She said, "Please excuse me, king. I did not want to hit your turban, but my children were hungry for the past 3 days. So I wanted to get some mangoes for them. So I wanted to hit the mango tree, but instead of that, I missed it and accidentally hit your turban." So Shivaji thought for a moment. Yes, if she would have hit the tree would have given her mangoes. I am better than the tree. So if the tree can give the mangoes when hit, then I must give her something more. So instead of any punishment, the king gave her 10 acres of land and 10,000 rupees. The king said to her, "You go, till the land and give the food to your children." So this is the way we should cultivate the tolerance. It's very easy to lecture about tolerance, right? But when it comes to the point, we can't tolerate anything. So this cultivation has got to be there. And unless you tolerate, you cannot function properly. Even husband and wife, if they don't tolerate each other, they cannot function. So that is a trouble all over the world. Now, that is the reason why our couples are separated. Divorces, again marriage, again divorce. So many things happen because we don't tolerate. So in Indian families also, they are degrading very fast. Even now, see, we see, right? So if the couples are not together and the material relations are not sound, then you're not interested to do anything. You just become lazy and life is completely destroyed. You die before you're gone. It is a living death because we are not tolerating. And this tolerance is the quality that in the end will satisfy Krishna. We saw, right? Then comes the second quality is merciful. So merciful attitude also praises Krishna. Karunaya means merciful. See, we are all merciful to all living entities. And that's why particularly we don't touch meat, fish, eggs, because that is killing the animal, right? We don't kill for anything. And we don't touch those things because Karunaya. We have mercy towards everybody. And we are all part and parcel of Krishna. See, animals are also part and parcel of Krishna. So nobody has given us the right to kill the deaf and dumb animal just because they are not able to resist. If someone else was there, they would have resisted, right? So when you try to kill them, they will kill you. So we are very particular about this quality to be merciful to everybody. This is the second quality to satisfy Krishna. Unless you have a merciful attitude, it's very difficult to satisfy Krishna. So the seed of mercy from our heart is completely destroyed as soon as you put the piece of meat, fish, or eggs into your mouth. There is no seed of mercy because the seed of mercy is destroyed. Then we have wars, so many troubles between the countries. Correct. Not only countries, societies, families, husband and wife. Very difficult to continue without a merciful attitude. It is the root cause of the disintegration of the society. Once the society is disintegrated, once the marital relationships are disintegrated, it is very difficult to get a good city, very difficult to go to a good country, difficult to find out good globe, very difficult to find good universe, very difficult to find out the bunch of universes. The whole cosmic manifestation is completely wiped off. And you forget one thing. It is all one body, Krishna's body. So don't think of if someone behaves bad somewhere, how it is going to affect me. No, even a single living entity does something bad somewhere, immediately the whole material manifestation has to suffer. See, what to talk of one family, what to talk of one society, one city, or one planet, or universe. Whole bunch are suffering. That's why if you cultivate these qualities like tolerance and mercy, unknowingly you are helping the whole manifestation to function very smoothly. The thing is that, see, this is the way to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the way Srimad Bhagavatam is very intimately related with our day-to-day life. See, our scriptures, they do not fly in the sky. No, they don't fly. They are very well on the ground. And our life has got to be organized on this way. Otherwise, life is completely a scratch. And this knowledge doesn't apply to one section of the society. It applies to mankind as a whole. So human existence is same. It doesn't matter whether you're Christian, Muslim, Hindu, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to satisfy Krishna or God. Everybody has to satisfy, right? Everybody has to be tolerant. Everybody has to be merciful. That will please the Supreme Lord. Then it comes to be friendly and equipoised. Maitreya Chakil Jantushu. You must be friendly to each other. This is the best quality. So there are three qualities, in 2 lines. Titikshaya, Karunaya, Maitreya, Chakila, Jantushu. Cha means definitely. Akila means all. So Jantushu means living entities. Definitely friendly to all living entities. So if you are friendly to all living entities, how can you fully cut the neck of the chicken and put the dead body and stuff it into your throat? You can't do it. And if you do it, if you stuff those dead bodies into your stomach, what are you going to get? They are rotten dead bodies. They may be colored or medicated in the meat factories. Whatever it is, but they can't improve. The nice wrapping doesn't improve the content. Correct. Contents are dirty. So we should shun from these activities. See, apart from the sins we are getting, completely contaminated, right? Whole of our life, whole of our society, family, everything, the pattern is completely destroyed. We don't see the satisfied living entities in countries where people eat meat, although they have all the riches at their disposal. That society which has no place for Krishna in their life is completely rotten. It's really high the mercy of Krishna because of his merciful attitude towards the living entities, right? Prabhupada was, in his old age, was sent all the way from Vrindavan to New York. Otherwise, we can't imagine what would have happened. So we should take this opportunity and cultivate these qualities. Then it says Samatvena, means equal to all entities. Friendly and then equal. Sarvatma, towards every soul, we are equal. Whether he is poor, rich, knowledgeable, uneducated, small or big, nothing. No discrimination. So we don't make any difference at all. We are completely equal to all living entities. Samatvena cha sarvatma. Sarva means all, Atma means soul. So if you follow these 4 qualities, Titikshaya, Karunaya, Maitreya, Chakila, Jantushu, Samatvena sarvatma, Bhagavan samprasidati, then the Lord is satisfied. So mercy, equality, friendly, right? And tolerance. So if we cultivate these 4 qualities, Krishna will be completely satisfied. Otherwise, he'll be angry with you. He will smash, right? So we have to cultivate these 4 qualities. Have you heard of the threefold miseries? Adhyatmic is the first one, arising out of body and mind. Second misery is Adi Bhautik, inflicted by other living entities. And then Adi Devik, right? So we cannot stop it. So whether in the temple or outside the temple, this will go on. Because there is envy, right? The root cause is envy, and from envy, everything is spread. See, envy is going to be there all the time because we are not sincere devotees. We are not serious devotees. We are trying to change our clothes and show others that we are devotees. If devotion is absent, right, then there is no way that we can stop this misery. See, everywhere, whether it's temple or temple community or outside, this dukh is bound to be there. We have to be tolerant. We have to tolerate as far as we can. Otherwise, we change your situation, but it doesn't have any effect, right? Just for the show, as a show bottle devotion. So far as you can tolerate, my Maharaj used to say, as far as you can tolerate, please don't open your mouth. See, Krishna doesn't talk, and that's why we worship him. If tomorrow Krishna starts talking, we will all run away. So he said, don't open your mouth. If it goes beyond your toleration, then maybe you can talk something here and there. And that too, if you open your mouth, then you just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the best way to escape, as far as we can tolerate. So when Dhruv Maharaj came to know, right, that his brother was killed, he started killing, and Swayambhu Manu came and asked him not to kill and gave him the knowledge. What are you doing, right? See, when someone comes to our house, we should greet them properly, right? Even if we don't know or have suitable paraphernalia for welcoming them, we should at least smile. I'll just share the one on the screen. Purpose very useful to understand. See this purpose, 20th verse. In the translation, it says the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his feature of eternal time, is present in the material world and is neutral towards everyone. No one is his ally and no one is his enemy. Within the jurisdiction of time element, everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. As when the wind blows, small particles of dust fly in the air. So according to one's particular karma, one suffers or enjoys material life. So although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam, he is not responsible for anyone's material sufferings or enjoyment. So there is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord, right? So here Prabhupada says, the less intelligent accuse the Supreme Lord of being partial and claim that this is why one enjoys in the material world and another suffers. But this verse specifically says, there is no such partiality on the part of Supreme Lord. Living entities, however, are never independent. As soon as they declare their independence of the Supreme Controller, they are immediately put into this material world to try their luck freely as far as possible. When the material world is created for such misguided living entities, they create their own karma, fruitive activities, and take advantage of time element, and thereby they create their own fortune or misfortune. Everyone is created, everyone is maintained, and everyone is ultimately killed. As far as these three things are concerned, Lord is equal to everyone. It is according to one's karma that one suffers and enjoys. Living in his higher or lower position, his suffering and enjoying are due to his own karma. The exact word used in this connection is anisha, which means dependent on their own karma. Example is given that the government gives everyone the facilities of governmental action and management. But by one's own choice, one creates a situation which obliges him to exist under different types of consciousness. The example given in this verse is that when the wind blows, particles of dust float in the air. Gradually, lightning occurs and then torrents of rain follow. And thus, the rainy season creates a situation of varieties in the forest. God is very kind. He gives everyone an equal chance. But by the resultant actions of one's own karma, one suffers or enjoys this material world. The last line is very important. God is very kind. He gives everyone an equal chance. But by the result actions of one's own karma, one suffers or enjoys in this material world. Now this, another wonderful verse, 21st. The Supreme Personality God of Vishnu is all-powerful. and he awards the results of one's fruitive activities. So although one living entity's duration of life is very small, whereas that of another is very great, he is always in his transcendental position. There is no question of lessening or increasing his duration of life. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, both the mosquito and Lord Brahma are living entities in the material world. Both are minute sparks and are part of the Supreme Lord. The very short duration of life of the mosquito and the very long lifetime of Lord Brahma are both awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the results of their karma. But in the Brahma Samhita, we find it that karmani nirdahati. The Lord diminishes or vanquishes the reactions of devotees. See, the same fact is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Yajnatar karmano anyatra. One should perform karma only for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one is bound by the action and reaction of karma. So, under the laws of karma, the living entity wanders within the universe under the rule of eternal time. And sometimes he becomes a mosquito, sometimes Lord Brahma. So, to a sane man, this business is not very fruitful. So, Bhagavad Gita 9.25 gives a warning to the living entities. Yanti deva vrta devan. Those who are addicted to the worship of the demigods go to the planets of the demigods. And those who are addicted to worship of the pitas, forefathers, go to the pitas. Those who are inclined to material activities remain in the material sphere. But the persons who engage in devotional service reach the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where there is neither birth nor death nor different varieties of life under the influence of the law of karma. The best interest of the living entity is to engage himself in devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur advised, my friend, you are being washed away in material nature's waves of time. Please try to understand that you are the eternal servant of the Lord. Then everything will stop and you will be eternally happy. So very beautiful purport, right? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in the 22nd verse, the differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature, others due to time, others due to fate, and still others say that it is due to desire. Ultimately, in this verse, Prabhupada, see, there are different types of philosophers. He says, I'm not reading the full purport. He talks about the kama, that is desire. The desire is the problem. Because of that, everything happens. So desire cannot be annihilated. See, there are some philosophers who say that if one gives up his desires, he again becomes liberated. But it's not possible at all to give up desire. For desire is a symptom of the living entity. If there were no desire, then the living entity would be a dead stone. So Narottam Das Thakur advises, one turn his desire towards serving the Supreme Personality. Then desire becomes purified. When one's desire are purified, one becomes liberated from all material contamination. So the conclusion is that the different philosophers' theories to explain the varieties of life and their pleasure and pain are all imperfect, not correct. The real explanation is that we are eternal servants of Krishna. Jiva Swarupai Nityadas, right? And that is, as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into the material world, where we create our own different activities and suffer or enjoy the result. So we are drawn into this material world by desire. But the same desire must be purified and employed in the devotional service of Krishna. Then our disease of wandering in the universe under different forms and conditions will end. So basically it is the desire, So we should be very careful with the desire. Krishna will fulfill all the desires. But we have to be very careful. The best is to dovetail our desires towards devotional service. In the 23rd verse, it says, the absolute truth, transcendence is never subject to the understanding of imperfect sensory endeavor, nor is it subject to direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies, like the full mental energy. No one can understand his plans or actions. Therefore, it should be concluded, although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation. Prabhupada gives in this purport with regard to the mental speculator, like Dr. Frog, he speaks about Dr. Frog. The story is that a frog in a 3-foot well, it wanted to calculate the length and breadth of the Atlantic Ocean. on the basis of his knowledge of his own will. He says that everything will be only back maximum this much. But it was an impossible task for Dr. Frog, right? So you cannot understand. The person may be a great mechanic. The frog wanted to know the length and breadth of the Atlantic Ocean. It was comparing it with his own well. It doesn't know. It cannot realize. So Prabhupada says a person may be a great academician, scholar, professor, but he cannot speculate and expect to understand the absolute truth, for his senses are limited. So the cause of all causes, absolute truth, can be known from the absolute truth himself, not by ascending process to reach him. See, when the sun is not visible, at night, or when it is covered by a cloud in the day, it is not possible to uncover it, either by bodily or mental strength, or by even scientific instruments. Although the sun is there in the sky. Understood, right? So no one can say that he has discovered a torchlight so powerful that if it goes on a roof and focuses the torchlight on the night sky, sun will then be seen. There is no such torchlight, nor is it possible. Prabhupada beautifully gives some examples like this. So very nice purpose. You can please go through this purport. Go to the 24th verse. My dear son, those yakshas who are descendants of Kuvera, not actually the killers of your brother, birth and death of every living entity are caused by Supreme, who is certainly the cause of all causes. So Swayambhu is telling him, the Supreme Person of Godhead creates this material world, maintains it, and annihilates it in due course of time. But because he is transcendental to such activities, he is never affected by ego in such action or by the modes of material nature. The conditioned soul has a false ego, right? And as a result of his karma, he gets different types of bodies in this material world. Sometimes he gets the body of a demigod. He thinks that body to be his identity. Similarly, when he gets the body of a dog, he identifies himself with the body, with that body. But for Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no such distinction between the body and the soul. Bhagavad Gita certifies anyone who thinks of Krishna as an ordinary human being is without knowledge of his transcendental nature, and he is a great fool. Mudaha, you see in the Bhagavad Gita. Namam karmani rimpanti. So Krishna is not affected by anything he does. He's never contaminated by the material moods. That we have a material body proves that we are infected by the three material moods. So Krishna says to Arjuna, you and I had many births previously, but I remember everything, whereas you do not. So that is the difference between the living entity or conditioned soul and the Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul has no material body. And because he has no material body, he is not affected by any work he executes. And then Mayavadi philosophers, they have their own ways of looking at things. Go to 26th verse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is super soul of all living entities. He is a controller and maintainer of everyone. Through the agency of his external energy, he creates, maintains, and annihilates. The 27th verse he says, my dear boy Dhruva, please surrender unto Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate goal of the progress of the world. Everyone, including demigods headed by Lord Brahma, is working under his control. Just as a bull, prompted by a rope in its nose, is controlled by its owner. So Prabhupada says, the material disease is to, what is the material disease? Is to declare independence from the Supreme Controller. I am separate from the Lord. That is material disease. So if actually our material existence begins when we forget the Supreme Controller and wish to lord it over material nature. Everyone in the material world is trying his best to become the Supreme Controller. Individually, nationally, socially, many other ways. So Swayambhu Dhruva Maharaj was advised to stop fighting by his grandfather, who was concerned that Dhruva was adhering to a personal ambition to fight to annihilate the whole of race of Yakshas. So in this verse, therefore, Swayambhu he seeks to eradicate the last tinge of false ambition in Dhruva Maharaj by explaining the position of the Supreme Controller. The words Mrityum Amritam, death and immortality, are significant. So please listen, this very nice purport. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, I am ultimate death, who takes away everything from the demons. The demons' business is to continually struggle for existence as lords over the material nature. The demons repeatedly meet death after death and create a network of involvement in the material world. The Lord is death for the demons, but for devotees, he is Amrita, eternal life. Devotees who render continuous service to the Lord have already attained immortality. For whatever they are doing in this life, they'll continue to do in the next. They'll simply change their material bodies for spiritual bodies. Unlike the demons, they no longer have to change material bodies. The Lord, therefore, is simultaneously death and immortality. He is death for the demons and immortality for devotees. He is the ultimate goal of everyone because he is the cause of all causes. So Dhruva Maharaj was advised to surrender unto him in all respects without keeping any personal ambition. One may put forward the argument, why are the demigods worshipped? Answer is given here that demigods are worshipped by less intelligent men. Demigods themselves accept sacrifices for the ultimate satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. See, here again, Swami Manu is telling in this verse, the 28, my dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievously afflicted by the words of your mother's co-wife, that is Suruchi, and you very boldly gave up the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the yogic process for realization of Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of this, you already achieved the topmost position in all the 3 worlds. So Manu is very proud that Dhruva Maharaj was one of the descendants of his family. And at the age of 5, began meditating on the Supreme Lord. Within 6 months, he was able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. So factually, Dhruva Maharaj is the glory of the Manu dynasty, of the human family. The human family begins from Manu. The Sanskrit word for man is Manushya, which means descendant of Manu. Not only is Dhruva Maharaj the glory of the family of Swami Manu, but is the glory of the entire human society. Now, because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead, he was especially requested not to do anything unbefitting a surrendered soul. See, I'm skipping some of the points. So, Swami Manu reminded him, right? He's Roma about the real purpose of life, about the valuable gift of bhakti, which he got at the age of 5 years. No? So, anger is very detrimental to one's advancement in spiritual life. That's why the 29th verse, it says, my dear Dhruva, please therefore turn your attention to the Supreme Person, who is the infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus by self-realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering. I'm sorry, I think the purport. Yeah. See, Prabhupada, he says, according to the bodily concept of life, one sees differentiation in terms of varieties of bodies. So the living entity actually passes through many varieties of middle forms. But despite all such changes of the body, right, he is eternal. And when the living entities are viewed with the bodily concept of life and appears to be different from one another. So Manu wanted to change the vision of Dhruva Maharaj. He was looking upon the Yakshas as different from him or as his enemies. Factually, no one is an enemy or a friend. Everyone is passing through different types of bodies under the law of karma. But as soon as one is situated in his spiritual identity, he does not see differentiation in terms of this law. See, most of the time, we quarrel over petty things with others and waste so much of our time and energy. Correct, no? We forget the essence and fight over unwanted things. These quarrels, they disturb our consciousness. And we forget to do our basic duties also in this state of mind. In all quarrels and misunderstanding, we see the people troubling us as our enemies. We fail to see that they are also part and parcel of Krishna. And whatever we are facing through now is just a reaction of our own past sinful deeds. And all these people are mere instruments in the hands of Krishna. So the moment we change our vision in this mood and turn our attention towards Krishna, then we will no longer fight with others or we will not have any ill feeling for them. My Guru Maharaj used to say, as soon as our attention is diverted to spiritual reality, that Krishna's existence is eternal, beyond our conceiving power, then we stop ourselves from being victimized by these quarrels and misunderstandings, which are the main characteristics of Kali Yuga. So this is the way to save ourselves from all degradation. If we quarrel, If you create ill will, soul is degraded. And when the soul is degraded, you will have to have millions of birth again. So to tolerate this birth itself is such a great, terrible struggle, right? So if we really care for our own welfare and seriously don't want to get trapped into millions of birth, then we should change our focus to Krishna instead of concentrating on petty quarrels. So let us see how to control anger. So the Romaraj was a liberated soul. Actually, he was not angry with anyone, but because he was a ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep law and order in the state. See the word Shrutena Bhuyasa, by constantly hearing. Very important. By constantly hearing about devotion service, one can check the force of anger. By constantly, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, by constantly hearing about devotion service, one can check the force of anger. And anger is detrimental, to the forces of devotion service. So Parishit Maharaj said, the constant hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is a panacea for all material diseases. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. By hearing, one can always remain in the equilibrium. And thus his progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. See, very nice story in this purport Prabhupada has given on how to behave with the demonic people. In this, Prabhupada has given in this 29th verse. In this connection about a snake, he talks about who became a devotee upon instruction by Narada Muni. And Narada Muni instructed the snake to not to bite anymore. So ordinarily, a snake's business is to bite other living entities. And as a devotee, he was forbidden to do so. So he has initiated the snake. Now he said not to. He has to follow the instructions. Unfortunately, what happened? People took advantage of this non-violence on the part of the snake. Especially the children who began to throw stones at him. He did not bite anyone because it was the instruction of the spiritual master. So after a while, when the snake met Narada Muni, he complained, Narada Muni, I have given up the bad habit of biting innocent living entities. But they are mistreating me by throwing stones at me. So on hearing this, Narada Muni instructed, don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you are going to bite. Then they will go away. Similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics, right? But in the common world, when there is mischief made by others, you should not forget to become angry. You should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. So the lesson we should always remember is we have to control the anger. And we have to control the anger, not allow anger to control us. See, Lord Rama, he conquered anger in so many situations, right? When Kaikeyi told Rama to go to the forest, when Sita was kidnapped, when Shurpanaka proposed to him to marry her, and when citizens of Ayodhya were questioning the purity of Sita Devi after returning from Lanka, right? So, see, in one such situation, Rama conquered anger. That was, Sugriva was without his wife and his kingdom for a long time, right? So Rama killed Vali and gave back the kingdom to Sugriva. Rama said that Chaturmasya is approaching, so we cannot go for searching Sita now. Now Sugriva is a monkey, so they want sense gratification. Rama told Sugriva to go and enjoy with his wife and kingdom. Rama told Sugriva to come after 4 months and help him to find Sita. See, Rama was so tolerant and understood the feelings of others in spite of being in the most difficult situation. But even after the 4 months were over, Sugriva did not send a word to Rama because he was completely engrossed in sense gratification. And that time Lakshmana became very angry. Lakshmana is well known for his anger, right? He told Rama that he will go and kill Sugriva. Rama told Lakshmana to control himself. He says, certainly none of your kind shall commit this sort of sin in this world, right? You should be very peaceful. Not to get angry, but very diplomatically, very peacefully, you should deal with the situations. See, a Purushottama is not a person who is able to conquer other persons. The first thing is we have to control our own anger. We can become the best person by just killing anger. Rama told Lakshmana to go to Sugriva, deal with him in a very friendly manner, and don't use any harsh words. Use only pleasing words. See, Rama is in such a big problem, but still he did not get angry on Sugriva. So in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, there are so many instructions about anger, because anger is considered to be the foremost enemy in the path of spiritual advancement. Another name for anger is Kama Anuja. Kama means lust or desire. Anuja means brother. Once our desire is unfulfilled, we become angry. So Krodha always follows Kama. So the younger brother of Kama is Krodha. Bhagavad Gita 5.23 says, before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world. So before we give up this body, we have to control this anger. But we don't know when we will give up our body. So right from now, we should stop anger. There's a nice acronym to understand word of anger. ANGER, right? A is for atheistic mentality. Atheistic means a person who doesn't believe in God. We are angry means things are not according to our wish. But everything is happening under the control of the Lord. Then where is the question of becoming angry? Still, if we are angry, that means we are not accepting the authority of Krishna. It means we are atheistic. Every time when we become angry, we must think we are atheistic. So A, that is atheistic mentality. N is negation of the Vedic principle. If we are angry means we are thinking of the bodily concept. If somebody tells something about us, then we become angry. If we think that we are the soul cannot be touched by whatever others say. That means negation of the Vedic principle. Then G for greedy. We are not satisfied with whatever we have. That is why we are greedy and anger follows. Then E is for envious nature. When somebody is progressing, we become envious and angry. Then R is Raurava hell, one of the hellish planets. If we are angry, we will go to this Raurava hell. And then Ruru animal will come and gobble us. Anger is so atheistic mentality. N is negation of Vedic principles. G is greedy. E is envious nature. And R is Raurava hell. At the moment we become angry, see, at the moment we become angry, right? We must remember all these points. But it's very difficult to remember at that time, right? When we are angry, our blood pressure increases. Heart is pumping very fast, causes damage to our body. You know, in our brain, there are so many tiny nerves, even tinier than our hair. Blood is passing through these nerves. When pressure increases, these nerves will be immediately cut off. And when it is cut off, hemorrhage occurs and we collapse. So considering our own health, we must control anger. Before we are merciful to others, we must be merciful to our own health. So if you are angry, blood pressure increases, nerves cut off, hemorrhage occurs, and then we may pass away. And if we pass away in this anger mood, again, roar of hell, birth, death, so many species of life is waiting for us. That is why we call anger as a double-edged sword. Both edges are sharp. When we are angry, the other person is affected, we are also affected. So anger is one letter short of danger. Bhagavad Gita 2.63 says, from anger, complete delusion arises. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the metal pool. Then again and again, we have to rotate in this 84 lakh species of life. Dukkhalayama shashvat. Just for a small moment of anger, we have to again and again suffer in this middle world. That's why in the 31st verse, Prabhupada says, by constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. So 3 solutions to control anger. Leave that place, number 1. 2, do not open your mouth. 3, develop the quality of forgiving nature. So Manu knew that Dhruva Maharaj is a very nice devotee of the Lord. And due to his strong determination and devotion, he was able to have the darshan of the Lord within a short span of time. That too when he was a small child. But now if he falls prey to anger and commits offenses, his goal of going back to God will be unnecessarily delayed. So out of compassion, by advising Dhruva Maharaj, Swami Manu says in 4.11.32, A person who desires liberation from this material world should not fall under the control of anger, because when bewildered by anger, one becomes a source of dread to all others. Prabhupada says in the purport, a devotee or saintly person should not be dreadful to others, nor should anyone be a source of dread to him. If one treats others with non-enmity, then no one will become his enemy. There is example, Prabhupada says, of Jesus Christ, who had enemies and they crucified him. The demonic are always present and they find fault even in the saintly persons. But a saintly person never becomes angry, even if there is very great provocation. So anger is one letter short of danger. It causes a lot of danger, just not people around us, but to our own souls, right? The point to understand is, he conquers the world who patiently puts up with the abuse of his neighbor. He who controls his anger, right? Very, very important. So our ultimate aim is to go back to Krishna. So we should not be distracted by these petty quarrels that occur in this material world. Holding a grudge is letting someone live. You know what is holding a grudge? You always have judge and grudge against somebody. That is letting someone live rent-free in our head. We waste our time, energy, ultimately land up contaminating our own minds and lives, right? By thinking and doing bad things to others. Instead, if we simply forgive and forget, our mind will be free of bad thoughts. And we'll have more time and energy to focus ourselves on the real aim of our lives. Now, since we are living in this material world, we are subject to modes. So our only armor of protection is shelter at the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. So when we sincerely surrender to him, they will give us the lessons to learn. Even different situations, to tolerate, forgive, forget. So Dhruva Maharaj accepted the advice of Swami Manu and stopped fighting. So at the end of his life, he attained the goal of his life. So for our own well-being, we should stay away from anger, simply tolerate, forgive, forget wrongdoings of others, and just move on. So these are the few points I wanted to share. More things could be told, but time is of the essence. I'll stop here. So thank you very much, Prabhu Mataji. Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna to all devotees assembled here. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
What are the three tips, Prabhuji?
Hare
Three tips for controlling anger.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Three tips for controlling anger is one is leave the place and forgive. Next one is second one is what, Prabhuji?
Oh, you are asking me. I'm sorry. I could not hear you. Yeah, develop the quality of forgiving nature, Mataji.
Talk very less.
Forgiving.
Yeah. Develop the
Leave
quality
the
of forgiving.
you told the three tips in that I missed the second one. Leave the place and forgive. I came to know, but second one is
Yeah, see, leave that place and do not open your mouth. Do not open your mouth. And third is develop the quality of forgiving nature. If you really want to open your mouth, you chant Hare Krishna mantra.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you, Shri Hari Prabhu, for this opportunity to glorify the Lord.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat pranams.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So thank you, Hari Prabhu. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can we stop here, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. Hari Prabhu, can I stop now? Or you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, we can stop here. We can stop the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.